Hello everyone. Welcome. Today is week 11. We are on episode 11 of What the Insurance. Today we are going to venture out of the medical world. We have spent a lot of time talking about medical insurance, open enrollment, networks, preventive care, deductibles, co-pays, just so much knowledge and information available. Well, now we're going to venture into dental. Surprisingly, there'll probably just be one episode on dental. I think I can cover the basics in one episode. I will have a follow up session that I'll probably only post to my Instagram page, so you guys got to watch it, to talk about the different out of network reimbursements because there is a lot of information that I think it'll be best delivered via an illustration. So if you remember my deductible sub episode I did where I kind of illustrated how the deductible works with the copay and the coinsurance, I'm going to do a sub episode for dental to illustrate the out of network reimbursement setups. But we'll cover the majority of dental at a very high level in one episode. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Today we're talking about dental. Thank you guys for joining me. There are two major dental plans that I'm going to cover today. Dental HMO and dental PPO. Very similar to the medical insurance. The dental HMO is really has a lot of similarities to the medical insurance. So with the dental HMO, you have to go in network. There is no out of network benefit with dental HMO. Okay. So you must make sure that you are on the roster for your dental provider when you are on the HMO plan. Okay, so you have to pick a primary care dentist, just like you would pick a primary care doctor on a medical HMO. On a dental HMO, you have to pick a primary care dentist. And you have to be on their roster. There's a list they have that you can change every month. If you want to go to a different dentist, you can go. You can change your roster, go to a different roster, pick a different primary care dentist, but you can't just go to any dentist whenever you feel like it on the dental HMO. You are required to pick a primary care dentist and stick with your primary care dentist unless you change your primary care dentist, and then you can go to a different one. So, must pick a dentist that's in the network. I keep wanting to say doctor. A dentist is in the network. And that you have to be on their roster to go, okay? And you cannot go out of network. There is no out of network coverage. Just like with the medical, the dental HMO also has copays. So there's usually no coinsurance or deductible. There's the copays for the different services that you have to pay. So that's how the dental HMO typically works, okay? Dental PPO, again, very similar to the medical PPO, copay. You have coinsurance and deductibles usually on a dental PPO plan. So you're required to meet the deductible first, and then your benefits kick in, which means your coinsurance kicks in. So you would pay whatever tier. There's usually 3 different tiers. You have your preventive care tier, you have your major services tier, and you have your basic services. Sorry, I went out of order. Preventive care, basic services, then major services. Usually the way it's set up is that your preventive care is going to be covered at 100% as long as you go in the network, just like with the medical plan. And then you have your basic services, which will be at a higher payout, so you would pay more on the major or the basic services than you would preventive. And then your major services, you would pay more on that, so the coinsurance would be higher on the major services because that's the highest tier. That's like the big stuff like inlays and dentures and all that stuff is usually at your major services. Your basic is usually going to be your simple extractions, anesthesia, things like that. And your preventive services is usually going to be like your cleanings, your fluoride treatments, x-rays, those kind of things. So we'll talk a little bit more in detail about preventive in a moment. So you have dental HMO, copay structure, must have a primary care dentist, must be on their roster. Dental PPO, you can go in or out of the network, preferably in the network. You don't have to choose a primary care dentist. And then the structure is like with the medical PPO where you have coinsurance and deductibles. And it's usually set out on a 3-tier basis where you have preventive, and then you have basic services, and you have major services. Okay. With the dental plan options, it is a lot easier to go out of the network than it is with medical. Typically with medical, most doctors are going to be in those larger networks. Most hospitals are going to be in those larger networks, so you'll be okay. With the dentist or with the dental insurance, it's different. You can go to a dentist in a dentist's office where one dentist in that office is in your network and the rest of them are not. You can go and it could be the complete opposite. You go to a dental office and, only one is not in the network. I actually had an experience like that with my own personal family where we had picked a family dentist that we went to, and I thought all the dentists in the office were in the network, right? Wrong. So I get a bill for my kids' preventive services. Well, preventive services out of the network cost more. Remember, I talked about that in the medical video. The preventive services out of the network are not covered 100%. So I'm thinking, why am I getting a bill for preventive services? Turns out the pediatric dentist in that office was out of the network. Everybody else in the office is in the network. Pediatric dentist out of the network. So it's very easy to go out of the network if you're not careful when it comes to dentists. And that's why they make a big deal about the different kind of out-of-network reimbursements that are available. What that means is how much is the plan going to pay out on your behalf when you go out of the network. There are two major kind of out-of-network reimbursements. The first is UCR, which stands for usual, customary, and reasonable. And that basically means that the percentiles for dental procedures are based on measurements within a specific region or area. And then the insurer, like that's your insurance company, would set the UCR percentages by utilizing benchmark data. And that's how they determine what they're going to pay out for out-of-network services. Okay. The second option is MAC, or maximum allowable charge. Typically what that means is the same amount of money that the insurance company will pay for in-network services. That's what they're going to pay for out-of-network services. But that doesn't mean you get the same level of benefit, because the cost may be more when a provider is out of the network. They don't have that same contract as in-network providers, so they can charge you whatever they want. Okay, so that means that even though the insurance company is paying the same amount of money they would be paying if you were in network, it may not make the same dent in how much you have to pay if an out-of-network provider charges more than an in-network provider. So I actually have an example for the difference between UCR and MAC, which is MAC. I'm going to do that on a sub episode in an illustrative version, and that's going to be posted on my Instagram channel. So you guys got to follow me. Check me out on Instagram. I'll go over what that is in a minute. And then you can see the illustration of the difference between the two out-of-network reimbursements. Okay, so we talked about dental HMO, dental PPO. You can go in or out of network. It's very important that you check the dentists that are in the office to make sure they are covered in the network, because you can go to a dentist and they not necessarily have every dentist in that office be in the network. So you want to check. Okay, preventive. I want to talk about that. Just like with the medical plan, your preventive services are going to be covered at 100% when you go in the network. Okay, that's by way of the Affordable Care Act. That's not by plan. By way of the Affordable Care Act, as long as it's still in place, you have dental preventive procedures covered at 100% as long as you go in the network. Now, that's going to be your cleanings, your fluoride treatments, your x-rays. It has to be preventive. So if you're going in the dentist's office because you have pain and they do an x-ray, that's not preventive, that's diagnostic. They're diagnosing you for the pain. Okay, so that will be subjected to whatever your deductible and coinsurance level is for that tier on your plan. That could be considered a basic service. It could be considered a major service, depending on what kind of plan you have. Okay, but remember, if you're going for a preventive service, meaning you're going for your annual dentist checkup, you can get that covered at 100% as long as you go in the network. But if it's diagnostic, it is not considered preventive. It is not necessarily going to be covered at 100%. It will be subjected to deductible and coinsurance. So it's very important. Affordable Care Act says get your medical checkup, get your dental checkup. Okay, very important. We're getting our checkups. They're covered. Why not go? You don't have to pay for it. Verify you're in the network. All right. Now, the other thing I want to talk about, calendar year maximums. Okay, this is very important. If you're watching, this is the part you want to listen to. Calendar year maximum on a dental plan is completely different from an out-of-pocket maximum on a medical plan. I'm going to say that again. The calendar year maximum on a dental plan is completely different from the out-of-pocket maximum on a medical plan. On a medical plan, your out-of-pocket maximum is the maximum amount of money you would pay in a given year of services, okay? The calendar year maximum for dental is the maximum amount of money your benefits will pay on your behalf. That's the difference. Medical, maximum amount you pay. Dental, maximum amount of money the benefits will pay. Okay? So they say you have a scenario, You go to the dentist and you're going in to have an extraction. Let's say on your plan, a simple extraction is considered a basic service, okay? Let's just say, hypothetically speaking, the coinsurance on your basic service is 80%. That means the plan pays 80, you pay 20. Now, I'm terrible at math, and I'm even worse when I'm live, so I'm going to try to do this right. So, your provider bills $1,000 for the cost of extractions. I'm trying to keep the numbers round. Let's just say the extraction costs $1,000. Your plan is going to pay 80% of that after you've met your deductible. Let's say you've met your deductible. Your plan pays $800. You pay $200. I'm trying to do simple math here. These are examples, guys. 80%, $800. Plan pays $800. You pay $200. Okay. Let's say for this purpose, your calendar year maximum is $1,500. That's about average. It's usually somewhere between $1,000 and $2,500. $2,500 is a really rich plan. Usually average $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 even is a rich plan. But let's say, for example, $1,500 is the calendar year maximum. So the plan gets billed $1,000 by your provider for your dental procedure, your extractions. They pay $800. You pay $200. The $800 that they pay is what goes towards your calendar year maximum, not the full $1,000 that they were billed by your dentist. It's the $800 that they pay. And as you continue in the year and you accumulate services and claims, and that money gets paid out by your insurance company, once you reach that calendar year maximum, they will no longer pay anything else for you in that year. It's a calendar year maximum. So it starts over in January. Okay. So this is what I tell people when I do open enrollment meetings. Let's say it's Thanksgiving and you're eating and somebody don't know how to make macaroni and cheese, and you bite down on the crunchy part, chip your tooth. This is what you need to do. You want to log in and check your explanation of benefits. Most, if not all, carriers will have an online portal. In that moment, you're in excruciating pain. Log in. Check your explanation of benefits, and it will show you, and it may even show you without having to look at your EOB. You may just see it on the online portal. How much of your calendar year maximum have you met? If you don't know how to look for it, call the insurance company and ask them, how much of my calendar year maximum have I met? If you have not gone to the dentist at all, you know you haven't had any services, cool. If you've gone to the dentist a lot that year, check, okay? If you have not met your calendar year maximum, you're safe. Go to the dentist and they'll pay out whatever's left of that maximum, okay? If you know you've done a lot and you call in and they say you are maxed out for the year, do not go to the dentist. You will be subjected to the total cost of whatever that claim is, because your insurance company is not going to pay out after you've met your calendar year maximum. I cannot stress that enough. Check your EOBs as it's approaching the end of the year. If you know you've had a lot of services, check your EOBs before you go for additional services, because you want to make sure you're going to be covered. Or take a Tylenol, wait till January. Just saying. Honest to goodness truth, I had wisdom teeth, all four of my wisdom teeth removed last July. I maxed out. I was like, I'm not going for a cleaning. I'm not going for anything else for the rest of the year, because I need to make sure that anything else I do is covered. Now it's a new year. Now I can go for my services. So you want to check and make sure you have not maxed out your calendar year maximum. The max amount of money your benefits will pay on your behalf. That's the meat and potatoes of this session, of this dental session. That's the meat and potatoes. That's the part I really like to stress. Okay. So key takeaways. Going in network, even on a PPO plan, can save you money. On the HMO plan, definitely saves you money because there's no coverage out of the network. But on a PPO plan, even though you may have coverage out of the network, going in network can save you money. Checking that EOB to make sure you have not reached your calendar year maximum also can help you save money. Always check with your human resources company and or your insurance to verify if your provider is in a network. You can call the insurance company. You can also call the dentist office, and you want to make sure you ask, is the dentist that I'm seeing in the network? The two things you don't want to ask. You don't want to ask, is the dental office in network? Because that's just going to tell you the office is in network, not necessarily going to cover all the dentists within the office. And you don't want to ask, do you take my insurance? Of course they take your insurance. That doesn't mean that they're in the network. Okay, so those are the two questions you don't want to ask. You don't want to ask, is the dental office in the network? And you don't want to ask, do you take my insurance? You want to ask, is the dentist that I'm going to be seeing in the network for my insurance? Okay, You can call the insurance company. You can call the dentist office. You can even ask your human resources. You can go online. You can check all your avenues. Make sure that the dentist you're going to be seeing is going to be covered in the network. Key takeaways, okay? Follow me on Instagram at _the_insurance. Okay, I'm going to be posting my sub episode 11 to talk about the difference out of network reimbursement methods, UCR versus MAC. I'll post that in a day or so. Give me a little bit of time. Then I'll also post these videos. My archive videos will be on Instagram and on my YouTube page. Link in the description below. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Like and follow me on Instagram. Next week, we're going to talk about vision. Okay, going out of medical again, going into the vision world. So join me next week. Enjoy the rest of your week.